Okay, we're on the next episode. Last episode, we were talking about Mario Party, and we were all in agreement. But we never answered the question of what it will do next. And I have no clue. I mean, Super Mario Party did
here
what?
is that Super Mario Party had a really, really good initial reception simply because they got rid of the car. It was only afterwards
that's fair.
when people really kind of dug deeper and discovered the lackluster game underneath. So, is Nintendo going to use the original response and say, whatever, they'll just have another half-baked, or they're going to make another half-baked board game isn't the main focus game? Because of the sheer good reception of Super Mario Party?
I don't know. And that is interesting though. That is interesting because again with the kind of stuff with for a new fan, I could see because I think I remember hearing that some people were saying Super Mario Party is the best. But that's an understandable stance to take if you're new when you've only ever experienced
Mario Party 9
and 10. Yeah, 9, 10, Arm for Stars.
Decent, but
I could see what
flaws.
And I can see why you'd think, this is the best Mario Party if you're new and you don't know what Mario Party was. So the
only time they've ever referenced that is re-released it is Mario Party 2 on Virtual Console.
Yeah, I own that.
And it was only Mario Party 2. Mario Party 3 never got re-released.
Yeah.
Understandably, the first one didn't get re-released because of the whole stick spinning issue.
Literally causing injuries is not really a quality. Real injuries and lawsuits aren't exactly primary remake. I guess they could remake it but remove that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't be the authentic reason, and there's no real reason to play the first one anyway.
Yeah. So Mario Party 2 though was the only one that got a Virtual Console re-release. Mario Party 3 was left in the dust.
Yeah. Honestly, they're probably gonna do a Super Mario Party 2. Now they might
about this Super Mario Party 2, what do you think they're gonna change about it?
I don't know.
Are they going to focus more on the boards? Are they going to?
Or are they gonna add?
Are there gonna be more boards than 4?
There are two ways I think they're gonna go. I don't think they're gonna make it the main focus again until this one gets inevitable backlash, and then they'll have to reassess. And so we have another Is it bad that I'm calling multi-game cycles? So first they're gonna have this game, then the backlash will cause them to make this game. That's probably not.
It's a little more complicated than that.
I know. But I think that there are two types of games they're likely to try. Number one, they try and develop. Either they develop they still have 4 to 5 modes, and they could either number one.
2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, they could try to either develop, or even make some new modes. But so they keep the same amount of modes, but they try and maybe develop them more. So each mode is developed more, or they just try and make even more modes.
Star Rush had... Okay, problem with Star Rush is that it kind of started this whole multiple mode thing. There's some glorified mini-games that they consider its own mode.
Yeah.
There's this rhythm mini-game, kind of like Soundstage, but worse. That it's considered its own mode. There's this Minesweeper game that's considered its own mode.
So they could either go. I would think they'd either go for more modes, or they try to make each mode more developed. But I don't think they're gonna go back to actually focusing on one mode.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
I think that they'd either make more modes or have the same number of modes, and each one would be more developed. But I honestly don't think that. I just, from what we've seen, they don't seem receptive enough to realize that maybe they should focus on the main mode next.
Alright.
is
like,
also the possibility that because it's Super Mario Party, that could become somewhat of a spin-off franchise. Like if they
not treating it. Birdo
I
in
know.
the game says this is the 11th party, completely missing out on Mario Party DS. They're completely
I know. Which is a
forgetting that
shame.
Mario Party DS Island Tour,
Shame, 'cause
Star Rush and Top 100
I like DS.
existed. And
I mean,
Advance.
Right.
But we don't
well,
talk about that.
Don't put words
it's more like I don't think I don't know. I've never played Advance, but I heard it was very different. But see, I know it's
spin-off,
not. See,
definitely.
I know it's not a spin-off now. But what I'm saying is it could become one. Like attitudes could shift, because I know it's not one now. But like if it fails,
I don't
I
see
wonder.
them doing that. I don't see them doing that.
At the very least, it's interesting to think about. But it does seem somewhat unlikely. Yeah, honestly, I do think they'll make at least. I do think they'll do at least one more game that is like Super Mario Party, but I have no idea what comes after.
New Super Mario Party.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. It would be hilarious. Like even though I do like that. Like, I like the new Super games, but I have to admit the naming convention for that is, like, the most ridiculous thing. It would show...
Yeah.
That would be amazing. It's never going to happen, though. I don't think they have... Yeah. They would show an amazing amount of self-awareness on how really ridiculous that name is. But then again, all Super Mario Party, I do believe... I mean, at least with Super Mario, they did return to the old board, so they maybe they're more receptive than they were, and they'll actually, like, listen to the criticism this time as well, but
So-
maybe they won't.
Alright, let's go.
I don't know enough about specifically enough about ND Cube to figure that out. Because
Alright, so I mean, it's primarily made up of Mario Party developers, so it's not like the development staff actually changed. It just might have been like just the fact that they were bought out and disbanded.
yeah. Plus, if the developer staff didn't change, that might be true. But did the higher ups that like make the big decisions change? I mean, obviously not the Nintendo higher ups, but like the people, the director is specifically,
The director of the game, yeah.
and therefore like the people that would have influence on how the game actually functioned.
Yeah.
And that would explain the more structural differences instead of the
Yes.
well, the mini
So-
games are generally still solid mini games.
Yeah, like I still like playing the minigames from these. Although
'Cause
there
if they
was
have the
an
same-
interesting change in Mario Party 9, whereas before there was always like one winner, and the placement system, like first, second, third, fourth, was reserved for battle minigames. Mario Party 9 changed that so that every minigame you get at least one mini star, even if you're fourth, and they all have ranking systems. There's no need to track like a first, second, third, or fourth. Like the original. They're always tracked first, second, third, fourth.
Right, because it used to be like 10 coins.
Yeah,
piece.
10
That's
coins for
the
the winner
other-
and nothing for anyone else.
That's the other weird difference.
And they could also that also means that the mini games didn't have to be built around having a rank order.
Yeah.
Like
But
there
yeah.
are some mini games in the original games that couldn't function in Mario Party 9
Yeah, they would not.
because they don't have one single winner, because they only have one single winner.
Right. Yeah, I think that it's. Yeah, you know, the other big issue with Super Mario Party, besides the fact that it's just undeveloped, is they made everything smaller for some reason.
Yeah, like just that
made the-
scale of everything.
Like-
Fewer Like, I mean, the scale
It seemed
of the
intentional.
game itself says it's like an afterthought. Like the only 4 boards. The boards themselves are pretty small because your die only rolls up to 6 now.
Yeah, and like not only that, but like they do the grid system,
values,
which
like,
just makes it. What the grid system has no function on like board thing, but it does make
Pretty
it
sure
the
you can
maps
buy a
feel
star
small.
pipe for 10 coins, which in Mario Party
Yeah.
DS with 30 coins.
Like you get less coins, and like you get less coins, and things cost less coins. Or I'm not actually sure if you get. I think you still get like
a bit of a similar thing actually happened with Paper Mario, where Sticker Star upscaled everything. You start with 50 HP instead of like 10. And we see, like in Origami King, we see Mario's default jump doing 12 damage on each enemy when it would have done 1 in the original Paper Mario.
Yeah, which is a bit. I actually think that's a bit sad because to me, what made them Paper Mario, besides the fact that it had action commands, but all the Mario RPGs have had action commands, but made Paper Mario kind of had its distinctive thing, is like the small scale, and it's still small enough that it works. Like it's not.
Yeah,
like it's not like
every attack is doing like 2,796.
Yeah. It's not like Mario and Luigi where like that kind of which is a very different battle system, and I still love those games. But I would say again, this is what makes Paper Mario distinctive from. That's one of the main things that makes the two games distinctive, is the fact that with Paper Mario you had low numbers and you could calculate
everything that you're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean stuff like Goombario's thing where it tells you how much damage the enemy has left, although you can always just calculate in your head. Like that was actually really useful because you could get it off in like exact numbers,
or
and like that's
the peekaboo badge because
yeah,
I can't be bothered to bring out Goombario.
Oh, that's
every
true.
New enemy I see.
Yeah, but that's like the kind like it gave. That to me is the defining feature of the Paper Mario system. Obviously, the defining feature of the Mario RPGs in general is their action commands. And I think possibly the defining part of Mario and Luigi specifically is the fact that you can actually the defining part of the Mario and Luigi games is the bros and attacks is a defining part, but I think possibly what defines it the most for me is actually the dodging.
Oh yeah,
because
that's like jump and hammer and enemy attacks.
And like enemy attacks. Yeah, and their enemy attacks are elaborate.
Yeah.
Like you get some really I think that kind of that's what
how to counter each one.
Yeah, that I would say is the most distinctive thing about that battle system. Even though bros attacks are a very big thing, it just in terms of usage, obviously the special the bros attacks happen or whenever you use them, but the counter attacks. Oh, and the ability to counter attack, but that's all wrapped up in that. So I would say that's the defining feature of the MNL system.
All right.
Even though bros attacks are. Yeah, but yeah, I've never played RPG, so I don't know. I'm not sure if RPG played. I'm not sure what RPGs. How Mario RPGs were defining, although it might just be defined in the fact that it was the first to do it. And yeah, it works. Although I think it looks a bit more like the classical, some of the more old style RPGs. So I don't know how that works, but yeah, those two elements are very very definitive to their. They're what make those games. I'd say the defining difference in their battle systems, or at least the defining difference. Well, obviously, I guess that's not really the difference in the Sticker Star Color Splash battle systems, because the difference is that you have to use up every move. That's the difference in that game.
I thought that was a good idea.
It's not even. I don't think they should have attached it to Paper Mario. I would not be opposed to seeing it in a different RPG. Or even another Mario RPG series.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's even on the table at this time. But it would be interesting. and I think it's an interesting like alternative idea. I don't think it's what I'd want for the Paper Mario series because because it already has a defining aspect which I think is quite strong. I think both the Mario and Luigi games and the Paper Mario have very strong, like those two defining aspects that I talked about. I think those are very strong defining aspects, and I think you can innovate on that without getting rid of it, and I think that's probably what they should do. But I'm not opposed to like the idea of a battle system where everything is disposable. It almost seems like an interesting idea. It's just handled really badly.
Yeah.
Like from what I heard, like it's just not like implemented well.
Yeah, I can.
Like the whole,
because
the whole point of such a battle system is that like is risk and reward, right? Every item is a risk. There's no reward and there's no risk because you get so many. So you've destroyed your entire system, and everything about that system that was interesting is now gone, and why it doesn't exist anymore. But I don't think it's a terrible idea. I would rather like I do think that the original Paper Mario defining aspect being that like low level numbers combat. I do think that defining aspect is strong enough that I think that they can just like they can innovate off of Paper Mario's battle system, and the ring system is a good thing. The ring system seems to innovate off of it, but I don't think they need to like. I don't know. I don't think it's just such. I just think that like it's actually I think it's often overlooked. Exactly how Paper Mario like did that. But I think it's one of the strongest parts of the game and the battle system in general. Like besides the fact that I think it's the battle system's defining feature, I think it's a very strong aspect. And I'd hate to see it go. It is, the sticker star attacks I don't know how much the sticker star attacks do. But I don't think they do like wildly too much. Like it hasn't been upped that much, but because I still think it's just with the. From what I heard, in theory, the building blocks from the old Paper Marios are there, but they're really hard to use because like it's really hard to like. Because, like, they all do still take a set amount of damage. But also, like, because you have to stack up all the stickers beforehand, if you, like, screw up even once, or, like, if you screw up the line even once, the whole strategy goes down the drain.
Changed all of the action commands to an A button prompt.
Yeah.
Like, even the hammer is just an A button. Literally everything is press A with good timing.
Yeah. So I don't think anything except ironically, I guess technically Super Paper Mario, but it doesn't really have a battle system at all. So I don't really think that counts. But all the battle systems, so technically that aspect hasn't gone away, but it kind of lost its use, you know? Without, like, it lost its luster, and I think a battle system that like re-emphasizes that aspect, and I think the ring could function into that, and if you could, because if the ring gives a very predictable multiplier,
once you plan out your move, like,
and
you
that's
gotta figure out how you're gonna align enemies,
and planning out, and planning out exactly what your moves are. I mean, obviously there's some. Am I making the room this time?
Yes.
And like obviously there's some randomness, but like, although actually I think we're going to cut this episode off before we do this. But there's always some randomness. But planning out your moves ahead of time is a lot of what made that original. It's very, again, it feeds right into that core Paper Mario thing. It's just. And I feel like the ring aspect, which like naturally feeds into that strategization aspect, especially if there's a very predictable multiplier on exactly what effect lining up the enemies correctly does, then that would play very well into that. And I think it's very useful that like, I think it's very important that like,
Newsflash: GW Hot
yeah.
Dog 2, GW Hot Dog 9, GW Hot Dog 1 from the white headbanded creamy junior punk quartet won a 100 times battle for Team Ketchup.
Wow.
Just thought you ought to know.
Thanks, Sammy. But as I was saying, I do think that it's very important that any innovations that they make on the Paper Mario formula go feed directly into helping that like core that core defining feature of the battle system. And I think the ring can do that if they do it right.
Alright. Remember when we were talking about Mario Party?
Mario Party is more depressing to talk about. I know, I never thought I'd say it'd be the day that like Paper Mario was less depressing to talk about than Mario. The state of Paper Mario is less depressing to talk about than Mario Party. But Origami King has got me to the point where Mario Party is now more depressing to talk about. So that's
have
good.
Have you ended off the episode yet, or
no? So
long drawn out outro?
thanks for flying with us. I'm